Well, sure, there's The Weeknd and Mike Myers, but there are so many others from Scarborough who are blazing their own trails. And you can add film director Ron Diaz to that esteemed list. Ron's new film, Morningside, hits the big screen this weekend, and he joins us along Joanne Jansen, who co-wrote and produced the stars in the film that's set in Scarborough. Thank you both so much for joining us. We kind of got the party started chatting about this movie because I'm so excited. But from Scarborough to the big screen for the city, tell us about how this project came together.
Oh, I mean, we have a company together called Ron and Ozzy Productions, and we've always worked together. We've wanted to tell this story of Scarborough and me growing up. And it took 6 years to make this movie.
Yeah.
You know, we wrote it together 200, 300 times over the last 6 years until we got it right. And, you know, great things take time. And just figuring things out so we can have as much control as possible.
Yes.
Right?
What does that control mean, by the way?
Yeah.
What does that control mean, to have that?
For us, it's definitely being able to tell it exactly how we want to do it without it being watered down, so it's comfortable for anyone that doesn't understand. I think people need to learn and see other ways of people living and speaking.
Yeah.
And it needs to come authentically, not from other people's opinions of what they think it should be. So we spent a lot of time and put a lot of care into making sure that it was that.
Yeah.
It shows you have 7 characters, this fictional community center, and watching, and we're going to play some of the visuals you see right here, and you see some really heavy topics being talked about here: gun violence, gentrification, things that a lot of Torontonians are speaking about. How does this movie? But there's a good side to it too, right? There's humor, resiliency, and you see that through the characters. How do you think this movie will resonate with people who live here?
Well, it's funny you say that because there's people who live here who have no idea what Scarborough is or haven't been to that side. So they just have this bad depiction of Scarborough. Sometimes the media is to blame for it, but sometimes it's just, you know, people are ignorant to it. And I feel like a movie like this will show you, like, it's a window to see what Scarborough is in all the lights, light and dark, right? And that was a good reason to, like, you know, chase for this for 6 years and make sure we're going to make it and put it in a big screen. And, you know, it was really tough, but we made it through.
Yeah, and the end result here, Joanne, talk a little bit about the themes of this movie here and why they're so critical to this project.
Yeah. So many of the themes we have, I think it's important if you're bringing up anything like gun violence, any of the sort of negative themes, you don't just say it's happening and it's because people are bad. I think it's a lot deeper than that, and that's why we dig into the issues of gentrification, of lack of care for underserved communities, community centres going down, things that then result in these things. So I think that's important, that we just sort of started opening those doors so people can have a look at why maybe some of these things are starting to happen, not just the end result. Like, what is the root cause of things? And we can't go too deep because we've only got an hour and a half of the film. So if we start touching on those things, hopefully people will start talking about it and maybe thinking about how they can adjust their own lives or come together to make things work so we don't end up with tragedies and things that we do.
Talk about the people in this movie here and the characters through this and how they brought the stories to life. You have some diverse voices in this movie, which is representative of Scarborough.
You know, the cast was really important to me and Joe. You know, without diversity as being this buzzword, like, this was something that Scarborough always had. And I wanted to see it on screen because we'd be in, well, for me, growing up there, I'd be in different people's houses. I'd eat their food. I'd see their parents. They'd make me listen to their music, you know? So it was there before it was a buzzword. And I feel like a lot of movies don't have this, or they'll do it just to tick the boxes, and we didn't want to do that. Especially when it came to dialogue, clothing, hair and makeup is a big thing, you know? She being an actress, she tells me horror stories that happens, and we couldn't have that in going forward in anything that we do.
Joanne, touch on that, because we were talking of that off camera, because the experience isn't only about the end result, what people end up seeing on TV, but it's also how did you get to that point, and it involves a huge effort behind the scenes.
Of course. For me, being a producer on this, I always promise myself, if I'm ever in that position where I'm in charge of hiring and making sure that our cast and people are taken care of, that we have the right people for the job. So that's the right hair and makeup team that can deal with people with black hair, and so people don't have to come and do their own hair before they get to set, or touch up their own makeup, or feel awful. They, you know, if they're coming to act, they just come to act and they don't have to worry about anything else. And the amount of care that our hair and makeup team did was incredible. Shout out to, you know, Simone and Roxana and Francine and everyone that came through, because they made everyone feel important and special and did an amazing job. And I'm so proud to see the end result of what they did.
What a beautiful experience that you provided to your team members to be able to have that, because what a huge burden lifted. And let me just say, the hair was laid, the hoops were hooping. I love the hoop earrings here. Okay, let's talk about how folks can watch this movie here. Opens in theaters on Friday, so that's really excited. How cool would it be to watch Morningside?
At Morningside.
At Morningside, so you can catch that at Cineplex Morningside, Scarborough Town Centre, in Toronto, right around the corner from where we are, Yonge and Dundas, in Etobicoke, Cineplex Queensway, Whitby, Landmark, Whitby. I want to end on this final note. You got your start on YouTube.
I did.
Look at you now.
I know.
Shout out to you.
I always wanted to be in film, and I started on YouTube, but you know, eventually I met Joanne, and she's like, "You gotta change direction." And then
there's bigger things ready for you.
Yeah, and she saw it, and I'm like, I didn't see it the way she did. So kudos to her.
What a beautiful pairing this is. Morningside, by the way, watch it tomorrow. You can. Ron, Joanne, thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
you.